Welcome to Dungeon Academics. My name is Thomas and I will be your instructor. That's the intro I use on all of my videos, and I think I want to take a bit of time just to talk about why I make these videos, what they're for, and why I style it like I do. I've had a very successful couple of weeks with this channel, going from about 117 subscribers to 153 in 2 weeks, which is tiny in the grand scheme of things, but for me, it's a massive achievement. So yay, go me. And that's actually quite important to me. And I'd like to talk a bit about why that is, and in fact, why I even run this channel, because I put a fair bit of effort into it, even though it's a tiny channel. Is it worth something? Am I getting something out of this? The answer is yes, I very much am. And for anyone that's listening, thank you for coming along the journey with me. So, firstly, why did I make this channel to begin with? Well, I like talking about mathematics and I like talking about roleplay games. And I enjoy talking about mathematics in the context of roleplay games. Now, I have lots of friends that I talked about with mathematical and scientific themes. That's great. I have lots of friends I like talking to about games. There are not many people who enjoy the nerdy kind of algebra that I really enjoy with games. So if I want to talk about this, I need to find a new audience to talk to. I could go out into the forest and shout at trees. I find this to be a bit more comfortable and less likely to get me locked up in on some sort of insanity problem. So I made a channel where I can talk about maths and games and game design and the thing that I love. Also, if I have an idea and I want to persuade someone else to use it, I can then refer them to the video. Now, there are several ideas that I want to implement in games, and if my DM is up for it, I will suggest, hey, should we use this rule variant? I talk about it here, and then I have everything laid out with evidence. So it's a useful persuasive tool as well. What's going on with the videos? Well, the first few videos that I made were much more highly produced. I had a script that I read. I had a very even and slow reading pace. This was more like a lecture than a conversation, admittedly a one-sided conversation. And I made those on my computer, and unfortunately about a year ago, my main computer died. So since then, I've been recording pretty much everything just on my phone and not doing any editing at all. I have put out a video that I use my wife's laptop for, and I can make the slides and edit the videos on a laptop. It just is a bit of a painful process for me. So I'd rather make less produced videos. That's what the LPV stands for, less produced videos, where it's me just talking. And if I have something that I want to show, I actually print it out or make it. This works for me. This isn't a professional channel, not by a long way. Not yet, maybe never. So this is just something that's easy and fun. And the fact that they're less produced, that's okay. I don't mind that. So why am I making this video? I have lots of good reasons and a few, I don't want to say bad reasons, but less relevant reasons why I want to do this. Like I said, I actually enjoy this process. This is something that I find highly enjoyable. I've actually done a bit of voice acting as well. I co-authored a book series for children in Finland learning English as a second language. Let me grab one, hang on. This is my book, Going Places. I wrote this with a couple of colleagues quite a few years ago. It was a really interesting process. I had a great time, and I get a comparatively insignificant royalties check every year from this project. So I definitely didn't do it for the money, I did it for the experience. But part of that was that as with a lot of school books where you learn languages, there was an audio CD that came with it. And I did a lot of the readings for the audio CD. And I was then asked by the publisher to come back and do readings for audio CDs for other projects as well. So across Finland, a significant number of people have learnt English with my voice. I will say that this was all aimed at the Swedish-speaking community in Finland, which is a relatively small percentage of the Finnish population. And bear in mind, Finland is a relatively small country. So it's in the thousands of students and learners, not the tens of thousands. It's not a huge project by any way. But I enjoyed doing it, and I learnt that I enjoy voice acting. And this is a nice way for me to continue a bit of voice acting, reading. I enjoy that. Last week, I was taking my son home and I was talking to him probably about dinosaurs, given it was my 6-year-old. And a lady came up and asked me where I was from, and she said she really liked my accent. And that was lovely. That made me feel really good. So I enjoy voice acting. This is something I think I'm relatively good at. And this is a way for me to practice my craft. Also, it might be a way for me to get some potential work. Maybe someone will hear my videos and go, that guy's got just the voice we need for Project X. Not the Jackie Chan film. And yeah, if you need a voice actor, let me know. Perhaps not as valid reason for making these videos is that if there is someone out there who's going to do a live play series and they need an extra player, how about that guy with a nice accent who does all those maths videos for Dungeons & Dragons? He knows the games, he's comfortable voice acting, obviously he's comfortable being recorded. Yeah, I'd love to do that. There are some amazing live play series. Critical Role's a bit much for me at the moment. Just the volume of material produced, trying to catch up is difficult. Maybe I'll give season 4 a go, but it's hard to stay on task. I don't have that much free time, so committing to watching 4 hours of something every week is comparatively difficult. Natural 6, on the other hand, is a lot easier for me to follow. The episodes are about the same length. They're only every other week. I'm still a bit behind, but I'm really enjoying the Natural 6 Dungeons & Dragons live play. And there's lots of other great ones as well. Dimension 20 I'm going to throw out there as well. That's been one of the ones I've really enjoyed. So if someone's got a new live play series and they need an extra player to fill in a seat on the table, absolutely, I'm interested in that. Is that a good reason to do this? No, but I'm going to throw it out there. What is another good reason for this? Honestly, I get a little hit of dopamine every time I get a new subscriber. Every time, another 1,000 people have watched your YouTube shorts. That feels fantastic. That's really nice. To make something, to put it out into the wild world and to have other people watch it feels really, really nice. For a long time, my viewership figures were absolutely tiny. YouTube Shorts has helped with that. I know that YouTube really wants to push short form videos. So a lot of people have probably seen the short form videos and then come to watch the longer form videos because of that. I don't have that much analytics on how much of these videos they watch. 10, 20 minutes of me talking about dice is a lot to deal with. So, if you've got that on in the background when you're washing the dishes, that's fine with me as well. Don't worry about that. But I do enjoy that little bit of dopamine rush when I get a new subscriber. And at the moment, it is the point where every single new subscriber gets noticed. Once people have in the thousands of subscribers, one person is a rounding error. But when you have 153 subscribers, one extra person, that stands out. And it makes me feel good. So thank you everyone who's joined in. What's another perhaps less good reason to make these videos? Look, I'll be absolutely honest. I love the idea of writing tabletop roleplay games. And if there is a roleplay game publishing company that needs a game developer, I would love to do it. I'm normally a teacher, but moving into game design has been something that I've wanted to do for a very long time. And, well, what are role-play game books other than instruction manuals on how to play games? And I've also been an instructional designer. I can write instruction books. So, yeah, if maybe there's a gaming company and one of their team stumbles across these videos and goes, oh, this guy seems to really understand how game mechanics works, I wonder if they'd be interested in writing the new game for us. The answer is yes. Yes, I would. In addition to that, if you are writing your own game and you need advice, I'm happy to consult on that. I really like new games, new game mechanics. And if you have questions, tag me in. If it's something small, I'm happy to do it. If you need something larger scale, hire me as a consultant. I would love to do that. Is that a realistic thing? Is that likely to happen? Probably not. Is it something that I enjoy doing? Yeah. So it's not a great reason. It's not a bad reason. What is another good reason for making these videos? Well, as a teacher, I have a philosophy that you only really understand something when you can teach it to someone else. It might work in your brain the way you think about it, but to really understand something, you have to be able to convince someone else that's how it works as well. That means you have to be able to order your thoughts in a way that someone else can understand. That's really important. If we look at some of the greatest inventors in history, we come into a problem here. Nikola Tesla, undoubtedly one of the greatest minds of engineering and science in the early 20th century, didn't write anything down. Most of his inventions are lost because he understood intuitively in his head how things worked and never bothered to explain it to anyone else. That explaining it to someone else is such an important part of the thought process that I decided to make videos to explain my thoughts. I understand things better myself because I have to put effort in to think about how I would explain it to someone else. That's a really important thing for me. It forces me to collect my thoughts, to order my thoughts, to really think about how to explain things so that I can make a video about them. And that's beneficial to me. These videos also act as an archive of my thoughts. If I want to go back and work out how I wanted to do something, I now have a record of what the idea was and a justification about why I think it would work. So for me, this also acts as an archive of my own thoughts. And I can see how those thoughts have progressed and changed over time. That, I think, is a really good reason to make a YouTube channel. What about a less good reason? Well, I will be honest here, the chances of this channel ever becoming commercially successful are slim. In order to monetize a channel, you need at least 1,000 subscribers. And I'll remind you, I'm on 153 after doing this for a couple of years. And you need, I think, 3 million YouTube Shorts views. And I'm on less than 20,000. So there is a lot of daylight between where I am and where I would need to be to monetize this channel. If it happened, would I be upset? No, certainly not. The idea of talking about Dungeons and Dragons as a full-time profession sounds wonderful to me. But there are lots of people who do that really well already, and they have their own niches that they've carved out. And my niche is perhaps smaller than theirs. And you know what? I'm okay with that. I'm not making this channel in order to become a rich and successful YouTuber. My youngest son tells me that he wants to be a billionaire YouTube, where people can watch him play games and go hunting. He's never actually gone hunting in real life, just hunting in games. And that's what he wants to do. But he's 6, so, fair enough. I, on the other hand, am 46 and have no delusions about this becoming my main source of income. If it was to happen, yeah, I'll be okay with that. But it's not my primary objective. So, not a bad reason, just not a real reason why I'm doing this. But I do this. I do enjoy it. I do enjoy the process of making these videos. And I've given you 3 great reasons about why I do them, and 3 not so great but not terrible reasons as well. So if you're ever wondering, why does that guy spend an awful lot of time talking about maths, dice, game design and Dungeons and Dragons? Hopefully that explains it all. Now, I've got a game of D&D tomorrow. I need to write my game journal, so I keep track of what we're doing. That's my fun plan for tomorrow. If you have any interesting games planned, you let me know. I hope you enjoy your next game, whatever it may be.